It's beginning to look a lot like playoffs. Playoffs? What is up, people? It is Tuesday night. It is time for Fantasy Whiplash. And the fantasy season is winding down, but without some, there's some serious work to be done still for those who did make it into the playoffs. You guys recognize my boy Alex from Yards Per Fantasy. Alex, say hi to the people and tell them where they want to find your stuff.
Hey, thanks for having me back on the show. It's good to be back. I always enjoy coming on here. Yeah, you can find me.
Thrilled too. Yeah.
All right, hold on. Thanks for having me back on. I'm always so happy to be here. Is that better?
Yeah, that was great.
Okay. Yeah, you can find my stuff. You can find me on Twitter, _JohnsonFF. Everything I got is Yards Per Fantasy. YouTube, yardsperfantasy.com. That's where I'm at.
That's where he's at. You can find him on did you give your Twitter handle? He is _JohnsonFF on Twitter. You can find me at Buy and Sell You on Twitter. If you don't know what Twitter is, you can use those same handles on X.
Oh.
Yeah, dude, I speak the language. Even Angie appreciated your intro.
Glad someone did.
So we've already got 27 people watching all over the place. We're streaming Facebook, we're streaming Twitter. I imagine by the end, there'll be 100, 150 people with their eyes on us. They want to hear us be smart. So are you ready for that?
Well, you've got the wrong guest on if that's what you're looking for.
I think that's my line. You got the wrong host on. I do want to take this opportunity to remind everybody, please do like the video. Please do subscribe to the channel so you know when we're going live. That helps us out with the algorithms and all that stuff. And it helps us be seen by more people even after we're not live anymore. I mean, I could be sleeping and I always feel like somebody's watching me and there's no privacy. Oh, man, I'm in a hell of a mood tonight. How you feeling today, Alex?
I'm feeling great. I'm excited to be here, remember?
I do. Well, we had a very interesting weekend of NFL football. There were some strange things. There were strange things afoot at the Circle K, as they say. I think. Well, I'm just going to get this out there. I got eliminated in the Scott Fish Bowl, and I'm not happy about that.
Shame.
I missed the cut by 20 points.
Shame.
Yeah.
I've been eliminated for about 6 weeks, so you're good.
I missed the quarterfinals by 20 points, and on my bench was Juwan Jennings, Tyrone Tracy, Christian McCaffrey. Oh, man. I hate that.
But damn, week 14 buys.
I know. They're terrible.
Yep.
That's almost as bad as we do personalized shows for Yards Per Fantasy, where people can subscribe and have us review their league. And oftentimes they do one preseason, one mid-season, one headed into the playoffs. And there's, I think, maybe 2 leagues. I don't remember, but there's only a couple. But they don't start their playoffs till like week 16. And they play all the way through to the end when everybody is resting their starters. And I'm like, man, you worked.
Yeah, we just did one last week.
You worked so hard to get here. And now you're not going to have.
No matter how much we yell at them.
No, I won't have Patrick Mahomes as my quarterback.
No matter how much we yell at them about that, they keep their championship in week 18. It drives me nuts.
I know, and we suggest it every time. We're like, you guys.
Every time. They don't listen. They don't listen.
All right. Well, let's talk about last weekend. What was one of the things? Let's talk about a couple things that maybe raised our eyebrows from a player or team standpoint. That kind of made you think immediately of the upcoming fantasy playoffs.
Well, the first thing that raised my eyebrows raised to like beyond my hairline. Phillip Rivers is coming out of retirement.
Yeah, right.
What the hell? Right. I was not prepared. I was not expecting to be ranking Phillip Rivers this week, doing my rankings, and here I am.
Yeah, I think
Phillip Rivers.
I wonder if the Colts, if when Daniel Jones went down, they were afraid that they were gonna lose out on some ticket sales, because Phillip Rivers' family could fill like the entire upper deck of that stadium.
The dude's a grandfather.
And I mean, he could field a team.
Good.
That's what's crazy. Yeah, I was not expecting that. So let's go and expound on that. Are you running to pick up Phillip Rivers as a backup in any league in case he busts out some of that Phillip Rivers magic?
No, Phillip Rivers hasn't had magic in 10 years.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think he's going to throw a lot of interceptions, don't you?
I don't know. I honestly don't know what to expect from him. I just can't imagine it's going to be that good. I mean, he's 44 years old. He's been out of the league for 5 years. He's a semifinalist to be in the Hall of Fame this year, and his clock is going to get reset the second he signs to the roster. Yes. And they're going to have to take him out of the running because he's not eligible anymore because he's in the league again. As soon as he signs to the active roster, it's done. He is a semi-finalist for the Hall of Fame.
Oh, man.
And now he's on the practice squad.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm not expecting much. I mean, he had a noodle arm by the end of his career anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's only on the practice squad just so they didn't have to make an immediate roster move.
Right.
He's
gonna be on the roster.
He'll be on the roster.
Yeah. He didn't sign.
He'll be starting, I think, because even Riley Leonard is banged up.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. He's not coming out of retirement to be on the practice squad. He's going to be on the roster.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. That would
be
the
interesting thing. Interesting thing is though that apparently, well, one, he's played in this offense for many, many, many years. Shane Steichen was his offensive coordinator at one point with the Chargers. And supposedly he's been running this system, obviously, to a dumbed down version of it, but this system as a high school head coach over the last season or whatever. He's been using the Colts playbook, and he's been talking to Shane Steichen about it every week. So he knows the plays, he knows the system, he knows the verbiage at least. So he's got that box checked off. It's just the physical stuff that we need to worry about.
So would you say that he has to adjust to the speed of the NFL game as opposed to
Yes, I think yes.
Puff Warner or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
Junior varsity.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What's up? Look, Jamie stopped in. Jamie is live right now and still stopping in to say what's up. That is commitment, man.
Well, should we crash his show and say what's up on his show?
Maybe. What a great guy. What a good fella. Philip Rivers is here. Oh no,
What?
Philip.
He looks just like him. Oh.
Yeah, Philip V55. So okay, yeah, so Rivers was an odd thing. I think for me, one of them was
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's like like when they have to like write down the stats, somebody's gonna be like, oh, don't forget about that last year at Indianapolis. And he's gonna be like, just leave that out of there. My touchdown interception ratio went down.
If anything, it's going to hurt his Hall of Fame status because one, he's not going to play that well. Two, another 5 years down the line, they're not going to even remember Philip Rivers, and he's going to have 5 more years worth of competition to get in. He doesn't have any rings. I don't know if he's getting in.
I don't know if he does either. It's baffling to me. It really is. Angie suspects he has college tuition to pay, and he panicked a little bit.
Yeah.
That could be Angie, but you know, he could probably go on TV and talk about football and make a pretty good living doing that.
Dude's a talker for sure.
Let's see what else. I was really interested. It wasn't a severe injury or anything, but Devon Chain got a little bruised and battered, and it was not my boy Ollie Gordon who took over. It was our boy Jalen Wright, who I have been pushing for forever. So, I mean, if somebody was going to get the carries, that's fine if it wasn't going to be Ollie. But he looked strong. I mean, we know he's strong, but he looked really good. And they're being kind of tight-lipped about the extent of a Chain's bruises or possible re-injury. So I'm assuming Jalen Wright is going to be a big waiver pickup this week, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, now that we know he's the handcuff, you got to pick him up. You got to pick him up. He's got to be a priority on the waiver wire this week. Even I do expect A-Chain's going to play. Sounded like he was okay. He wanted to come back in the game. They're playing the Jets. They don't need to bring him back. But yeah, I mean, he played 52% of the snaps in that game with A-Chain out, and Ollie Gordon played 25%. He more than doubled his snap share.
That's
so
surprising to me.
Yeah, me too. But he looked good. I thought, honestly, preseason, I thought it was over. When Jalen Hurts got hurt, I mean, are we talking about Jalen Wright? Jalen's. When Jalen Wright got hurt, I thought that was a wrap. That was his career because Ollie Gordon was looking good. He was playing well. Jalen Wright was playing terrible in the preseason. There's so many bad vibes about him. And he didn't look that great last year. He didn't get much playing time. And I thought it was a wrap. I thought he was going to come back and be the RB3 and barely see the field, and you need to kind of drift off in the sunset and retire before Phillip Rivers. But he's going to be the handcuff, and he's a guy I think we need to prioritize on the waiver wire and stash for the fantasy playoffs, because if something does happen to Achane, we got to have that guy to plug in.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you're fond of burying guys way too early.
I will say it again. It is over for Caleb Johnson, and I know that's what you're referring to.
Oh, man. It is not over for Caleb Johnson. But anyway, I think, this whole time I've been pushing Jalen Wright as he needs a more significant workload to show what he can do. This whole like 1 carry per drive thing, how's anybody supposed to string something together that way? I mean, and unless it's on a goal line, then no fantasy relevance whatsoever. So I was glad to see him get as many carries as he did.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
What else you got? You got any other eyebrow raisers?
I got a few eyebrow raisers. How about Shedeur Sanders proving to be a competent quarterback out there? Not only competent, dude threw for over 300 yards. We were making fun of him the other day.
We sure were.
We told a lot of people, do not start him.
We sure were. That show was iffy. Although Burton, I think, led the Bears in targets. I have a tendency to look at Shedeur the same way I look at Fields. He's already got everybody kind of rooting against him, including like the people he worked for. You know what I mean? And then he can go out and put up some good fantasy performances, prove to be a capable fantasy player, but you always have to worry if you're going to lose him because he's not a good NFL leader and he gets replaced, which I think is a lot of Justin Fields' problem.
Yeah. Well, sounds like he's going to be the guy the rest of the year, so he's safe for the rest of 2025. I don't know what's going to happen in 2026. I still imagine Shedeur Sanders is a career backup, but I think this weekend gave me confidence that he can be a good career backup and somebody who, is competent when called into action. But maybe he develops into more than that. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, hear me out. Hear me out here. Finishing the AFC North quadruplet, Joe Flacco goes to the Steelers, and they also bring in Shedeur to be his backup.
All right. How old is Joe Flacco going to be when he comes out of retirement?
He's not going back into retirement. He's already said, I want to keep going.
He's not even going to, he's just never going to retire. He's just going to keep playing.
That's right.
All right.
I can't imagine what his family thinks. His family probably thinks he's nuts.
It sounds like a very Steelers-like move, so I could see that happening. Just keep the mediocrity going. Yeah.
There you go. You're getting my Saturday bold prediction several days early. That's probably more meant for the offseason anyway. Raise my eyebrows, Alex.
How about Kamani Vidal kept playing ahead of Omari and Hampton? I know it was the first game back, and Hampton, was out for a while, but he had his moments as well. He scored a touchdown. Mm-hmm. He looked pretty decent when he was out there.
Yeah,
Kamani Vidal continued to play ahead of him though.
Over 100 yards in that game.
And I think he also had a long run that was called back. I could be making that up, but
okay. So now let's then, because this is a true eyebrow raiser in fantasy, because does this mean that people that have Omarion need to be worried a little bit? Do people that have Kamani just automatically put him in there this week? This is one of those, what do I do? Do I have somebody better? Well, how much better,
Yeah. So when you look at their playoff schedule, I don't have a lot of confidence in either of those running backs, especially if they're going to be in a committee. We do have the Cowboys in week 16, that's good. The Cowboys have been improved, but they're still very vulnerable as we saw last week. But they get the Chiefs this week in the first round of the playoffs, and then they get the Texans in the fantasy championship week. And those are two of the top 5, at least, defenses right now. Defenses I don't want to be playing a lot of fantasy assets against.
Right.
Especially when they're in a committee. If one of these guys had the backfield to themselves, I'd have a lot more confidence. Like, okay, we can play them based on volume. They can score a touchdown. And we can get there with them. But if they're going to be vulturing each other, it makes me nervous to play either one of them with such high stakes at this point in the year.
Yeah, you'd almost have to be guaranteed that one or another is going to get into the end zone. And I just don't think there's any way to predict it with those two. Because Harbaugh could give either one of them the ball on the goal line, depending on what his playbook says. I want to talk about a man named Tyler Shough. Tyler Shough, because I'll say this, I don't know how many people are like me, but when I head into the fantasy playoffs, I always, usually for the first time of the season, I back up my quarterback so that I'm not scurrying around if something else happens. Even in a league when there's like 5 or 6 of them on waivers, you don't want to be stuck picking the worst one. But Tyler Shough just had back-to-back 22-point games. 2 games before that, he had a 23-point game, and he's looked extremely capable. And keep in mind, this is without Kamara on the field and Shaheed gone to Seattle, where he is just exploding. Maybe not. I'm going to save that joke and not do it next week. But Shough has got now Carolina this week. Not so great. But then for the semifinals and the finals, he's got the Jets and the Titans. And the Titans are awful against the pass. I mean, it would take somebody probably getting injured for you to decide to start Tyler Shough over somebody, just because of name recognition, I suppose. But I picked him up in 2 leagues. Like, well, I don't think my starter's going to go down, but if he does, I like this schedule. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, he's played pretty well. I mean, it was a slow start for him. His first couple of starts, he was kind of just conservative. He wasn't really pushing the ball down the field much. The last couple of weeks, I know he's only 144 yards this past week, but he's been starting to push the ball down the field. I'm more excited about, the potential, the upside of Chris Olave in that offense rather than specifically starting Tyler Shough. But like you mentioned, he's given us some QB1 fantasy performances over the last few weeks, which is highly encouraging, especially with the schedule, being good. I mean, it would be very league dependent. There's not a lot of situations where I'm still going to feel that confident in starting Tyler Shuck in the fantasy playoffs. But if I have a guy like Aaron Rodgers,
and if you're in the fantasy playoffs, the chances are you probably have a pretty decent quarterback already.
Right.
But if you've made it this far with, I don't know, Cam or something, you know what I mean? Then maybe you could do a little switcheroo.
I think in superflex leagues, especially, he could end up being your QB2 if you've been really strong at QB1, the rest of your roster is really strong. You kind of been limping along with the QB2 spot. Tyler Shuck can be a guy that can just be that steady plug and play. Give you just a nice floor throughout the fantasy playoffs and get you through.
Yeah, I like that.
Starting him over Philip Rivers.
What's that?
I said I'm starting him over Philip Rivers.
Oh man, I got to claim in for him just everywhere. He's going to be taking over for Mahomes and Stafford in all my lineups.
But that's a perfect example, though. If you were in Superflex and you were relying on Daniel Jones as your QB2, now you can plug in Tyler Shuck and you can feel okay about it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. 100%. I'll tell you what we're going to do before I forget. Let's take our little break here. I wanted to tell everybody, as I always do, about Fast Draft, which is a blast. Once again, for those of you who aren't playing, I'm not saying that because it is made by the company I work for. I play it every week, and I usually lose, and I still love it. Just the process of picking the players and everything. So there's the Flex 6 Frenzy, which is every week you draft against 8 other people or 7 other people. 6 rounds. It takes like maybe 5 minutes to do that because everybody is trying to get the fastest pick time. Or you can do the Quick 6 Super Slam, which is basically DFS, but there's no quarterback, no tight end, and you just pick your favorite guys for that week and put them up against everybody else's favorite guys. There's no sharps, there's no bots. The house doesn't rake anything, so it's really just you playing against other people. But the last thing is there is a best ball tournament popping back up, and it is just for the next 3 weeks of the fantasy playoffs, week 15, 16, and 17. Now, that means those lineups lock this Thursday night. But the prize pool is like $5,000. It's up there. I think first place gets like $1,500, something along those lines. So, and once again, you go through a draft, but in this case, you can draft 2 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 5 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, and it's best ball. So they'll just take whoever the best scorers are each week, put them all in the lineup under their positions, and do that. But with that said, I'm gonna let Senior Podfather tell you about it. Now he sent me. Oh, where'd it go now? Oh, there it is. He sent me a video that is open on either side. So either Alex and I could sit here and do this while he's talking. But I think maybe I'll take us off the stage and throw the Podfather up there. So hang loose. Listen to.
Oh, fast draft bigger, better than it's ever been. We got the Rabbit. It's back. Week 15, 16, and 17, a cumulative best ball tournament for the fantasy football playoffs live now on Fast Draft. Check it out. What do? You're gonna draft one. Oh, fast draft bigger, better than it's ever been. We got the Rabbit. It's back. Week 15, 16, and 17, a cumulative best ball tournament for the fantasy football playoffs live now on Fast Draft. Check it out. What do? You're gonna draft one quarterback or two. You're gonna draft one tight end or two. There's a lot of flexibility. You're gonna check those strength of schedules for the end of the year. 3 weeks, best ball. Let's go.
I tried to cut him off too early there. I was like, oh, I guess I'll just let him do it again. You just
Where do I get me one of those hats?
And he starts going, I know, dude, they're awesome. The enormous hat.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I honestly, I just want a regular hat. I thought he'd give me one, and I'm still sitting here like, I could use a hat. I mean, he outfitted me, but Sam's got to have a lid.
Yeah.
Sam has to have a lid. Always. Let's talk about waivers, Alex. You want to do that?
Okay, let's do it.
All right. I'm going to start with one, and I apologize because I didn't make a bunch of notes before the show. So I'm going to be, but I know who I want to talk about. So I just want to check the roster percentages for those guys. My first one is Bam Knight. We all know we all know everybody was worried about, Benson coming back this week. He has not been activated. He obviously had a setback of some sort, but they won't tell us anything. It's gotten to the point now where Jonathan Gannon said that they could still possibly activate him this week, but then make him sit out week 15 and come back week 16. At the end of the day, man, the Cardinals have nothing to play for. There's no reason for them to push Benson to come back. Bam Knight, I think, made it up to about 45% rostered in Yahoo leagues. And then with the impending return of Benson and the fact that they played against the Rams last week, he went all the way back down to 35%. This is a starting running back in the National Football League. I don't care if you think he's good, if you think he's not good. Volume is always the name of the game. And he's getting it from that backfield. He might have to share a little bit with DeMarcado when he comes back. But yeah, you should check in your leagues because 36% is pretty low. Unless you're in a really deep bench league, he's probably there for you. What do you think about Bam?
And what'd you guess who he gets in the fantasy championship week?
Huh?
Bengals.
That's right. Yes, I was going to talk about the schedule. He does, in fact, get the Bengals in the championship week.
Don't play him this week, but if he's still having that same role by the time we get to week 17,
yeah, I mean, don't
usable.
Don't play him last week. Don't play him this week. But at this point, at 35% rostered, you can find a spot on your bench. You know what I mean? Drop John Mechie.
Please, yes. Please, yes.
But yeah, so he had the Rams. Next week he has the Texans. He's not projected for much. He only put up 6 fantasy points against the Rams. But even still, those last 2 games, when you really need a flex for the semifinals and the finals, that's gonna be big stuff right there. I'm calling it. I see it. I mean, he's still getting over 10 carries a game. It's not bad. Who you got, Alex? Yeah. Who you got?
All right. Well, all right. Yeah. I got a few names, and I did prepare for you, so I do have the roster percentage. I got
how many names do you have?
I got 13 names. We're not going to talk about them all, but I got 13. I prepared for your show. You didn't prepare.
Well, I prepared for your show.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I don't prepare for mine. All right. I do have the percentages as well. And am I freezing? Can you see me? Can you hear me? I know I keep freezing. I don't know, but Blake Corum is here. He's arrived.
Oh,
Corum's
come on.
happening. No more. Corum is coming. Corum is here. He has arrived. We talked about it last week. It was really nice of the Rams to start resting Blake Corum so that he was fresh for the fan. No. They're giving Kyren Williams touches to rest Blake Corum for the playoffs. Don't you get that wrong. It was very nice of them to do that.
So fantasy managers must have been doing the same thing. They were like, well, let him sit on waivers and chill.
Yeah, exactly. And he's still only 33% rostered. He just went off for over 26 fantasy points. After, by the way, maybe we should, if you allow me, I'll plug our Sleepers show from last week, where we may or may not have had a discussion about Blake Corum on that show. So anybody who watched that show was starting Blake Corum with confidence. And of course, he gave you his best performance of his career, I think. I would say that's probably the best performance of his career because he didn't do anything last year. So he was 14 fantasy points in week 13, 26 fantasy points in week 14. You better believe when Blake Corum was ripping off those long runs, scoring those touchdowns, I was in my living room jumping around and celebrating because
no, you weren't.
It's happening, and Corum is. I might have done a dance. I might have done a little dance. Okay, but there were no witnesses, so we'll never know. Actually, to be honest, I think I slept through the first touchdown. So
in your living room, I just picture you watching football like this.
That is how I watch football, correct. Until Blake Corum runs for 131 yards and 2 touchdowns. That gets me off my feet. The music on. And we're dancing. All right. So we're gonna pick up Blake Corum. We gotta stash him. One, he's got standalone value at this point. And now if anything does happen to Kyren Williams, it is full league winner status for Blake Corum if that happens. So we got to pick him up. He's got to be a priority. He should have been rostered before this at this point anyway, but he's still available in so many leagues. Pick him up, stash him. Even if you're not going to play him right now, stash him just in case Kyren goes down, or if you have a starter goes down, you need a plug and play guy. Corum can get that for you. He can be that guy.
I've
been waiting a year and a half to talk about Blake Corum. Thank
I
you for
know.
letting me talk about
I'm sorry. Did you want to keep going?
I can if you'd like.
Yeah, I mean, you. Oh, I know. Am I cutting you off too soon?
It's all right.
What?
It's all right.
I
We
think
got
we should go
more
back
to
to
talk
Saturday.
about. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah,
I'm gonna
Who
go
else
back
did we
to
hit on?
Saturday.
All right.
Well, I don't know if it was really a hit, but you
You're gonna talk
laughed
about the
at me.
cheese?
Huh?
Yeah.
You laughed at
Kobe
me
like the
when
cheese?
I
Is that where we're going?
that Pat Bryant was
Yeah.
going to do some stuff down the stretch. Now, he had 4 targets. He had 4 catches. He had 40 yards. Not that impressive. But
Not that impressive.
But it's just continuing the theme that he keeps knocking on Troy Franklin's door and saying, like, I got this one. And, you know, I think the blocking down the field is a bigger deal than anybody made it out to be. He's obviously working his tail off. I'm not saying you should put him atop your waiver priority list, but I'm saying, you know, when waivers all go through, if you didn't get a couple guys that you didn't have, I think he's worth carrying through the playoffs. If anything happens to Troy Franklin or Cortland Sutton, I think Pat Bryant is going to explode. And I think he's going to explode next year, but that doesn't help us right now. But we can talk about the cheese. Do you want to talk about the cheese?
If you'd like, go for it.
Well, I mean, I feel like we're just rehashing our Saturday show, but frankly, our Saturday show is always good. We are always nailing people. So I want to talk about his second year with the Rams, Colby Parkinson, who has rendered the rookie Ferguson, who everybody was expecting a lot from, has rendered him pretty much out of the game. And then he got hurt last week, or hurt on Sunday. So they don't know if he's going to play this week, which means Colby's going to get, you know, all the snaps. This dude is still. Now, I don't want to take credit here, but last week he was 3% rostered.
Mm-hmm. And now?
It's 5%
Wow.
rostered now. All those people
So
that
you
watched our show.
You have so much influence that they upped it by 2 whole %. I'm very proud of you.
I know. Do you know how many people that is? 2%? That's a lot of people, dude.
It is a lot.
I'm not really joking though. This is, I mean, since their bye in week 8, Colby has hit a single-digit fantasy total 3 times. He's hit double digits 4 times. 12-20, 14-10, 14-10. I mean, that last one, the 12-20, was just this weekend. He's projected for 5 points. This is a guy that in a desperation move, you could play him in flex. This doesn't have to be, I need a tight end. But, you know, right now, I looked on ESPN, Yahoo, and the most heavily projected free agent was Darius Slayton. Don't pick up Darius Slayton. I mean, he scored a touchdown last week, sure. But don't pick up Darius Slayton. I mean, you can get somebody so much better that has more than one catch a game and plays more than 40 or 60% of the snaps. But I digress. Let's hit this real quick, Alex, from Angie. 14-team keeper league. She has Jaden. I'm sorry. But have been subbing Brissett, except this week. Should I grab JJ McCarthy? Brissett has the Houston defense. Alex?
Should we? Well, we have Jacoby, right? So we have Jacoby. I mean, he does get the Cowboys this week, and if you look at the strength of schedule fantasy wise, the Vikings do have the most favorable schedule for fantasy quarterbacks in the fantasy playoffs. Cowboys, Giants, Lions. DraftSharks.com is a great tool for that. And they have the Vikings quarterbacks ranked as the number one easiest schedule for the fantasy playoffs. So I'm not playing him over Jacoby Brissett, although even
against Houston?
Even against Houston, not doing it. Just pure volume that they're allowing Brissett to drop back. I'm going to keep riding the hot hand with Jacoby in the difficult matchup. But tempting.
I would say if you're in desperate need of a ceiling play, you could try the McCarthy route and hope that he goes for 3 touchdowns against Dallas, because I think I could. But Brissett is like, we don't know if what McCarthy did last week was an anomaly, like if he's just all of a sudden figured it all out, or if it's just he needs to play against lesser competition.
I mean, he was the Commanders.
And this week it's Dallas. So I do think he's going to have a good game. I just don't know if he's going to explode, but he has the potential to have a huge game. I would feel much more comfortable playing Brissett in the playoffs.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, he against the Commanders, his best game we've seen from him yet. All right. And he still threw for only 163 yards.
And he still couldn't hit one of the best wide receivers in football.
2 catches for 11 yards for Justin Jefferson? That tells you right there all you need to know about this fluke of a performance from JJ McCarthy. Is it nice to see that he improved? He did complete 69% of his passes, which is a huge improvement from what we were getting from him. Very nice. But still took 4 sacks, still can't hit Justin Jefferson.
Barely hits Jerome Addison. This week he did a couple times, but Addison was going down the drain for a couple weeks.
Unless you were starting Josh Oliver, you didn't get any benefit from JJ McCarthy's good game.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people were starting Josh Oliver over TJ Hawkinson.
Well, I don't think anybody's starting TJ Hawkinson either.
Well, probably not. But you know what I'm saying. I mean, if you're going to throw to a tight end because you're, not that confident and going way down the field, you'd kind of think TJ Hawkinson would be a target.
You would think, but it's JJ McCarthy. If I'm picking up a quarterback off the waivers for the fantasy playoffs, it's probably the guy that you mentioned earlier, is Tyler Shuck.
Tyler Shuck. Give me another one.
Should we stick with the theme?
Sure.
How about
Are
our
we going back
guy?
to last Saturday?
Yeah. Make sure you're hitting up Yards per Fantasy YouTube on Saturday nights around 9:30, depending on how late Sam is. Luther Burden.
9:15.
Okay. I tell Sam to come. Every week we are scheduled for 9. It ends up being 9:15. We don't actually go live until 9:30 at the earliest.
Okay, now whose fault is that? Because I will get there at 9:15 and your screen is just blank because you're doing your hair or some shit.
Because I'm waiting for you. Luther Burden. We want to pick up Luther Burden. He's still only 17% rostered. And I saw your 2% raise on Kobe Parkinson. I'm going to raise you a 4% raise on Luther Burden. I'll take all the credit for that. Luther Burden, we predicted that he would lead the team in targets in week 14, and he did. It didn't turn out to be this big boom game, but for as long as Roma Dunze is going to be out, and I think he's going to be out for multiple weeks, maybe
what's
the
his
entirety
injury?
of the fantasy playoffs. It's a foot stress fracture in his foot, I believe.
I see. You know what's really funny is I saw somebody on Reddit who is married to a Bears player and said that Roma Dunze punched the ceiling, and that's why he missed the game last week.
Really? So foot
She
fracture?
was spilling tea all over the
Really?
place. Mm-hmm. But anyway, regardless.
Yeah, I mean, so I mean, if we can get semi decent play from, that's the thing. Caleb Williams is an issue. He's all over the place. He's inconsistent. You can't rely on anybody catching passes in that offense week to week as like a reliable, steady, you know what you're going to get from these guys. But we know that he can create some explosive plays. Luther Burden, he's great after the catch. He can make plays down the field. And if he's going to go out there and lead the team in targets the first game that Roman Dunze sits out, and DJ Moore is essentially an afterthought at this point.
Yeah.
I want Luther Burden in the fantasy playoffs. I'm trying to look at their schedule. It's not particularly great. They get the Browns this week, the Packers in week 16, and the 49ers in the fantasy playoffs. But if you need a wide receiver off the waiver wire with some upside, a guy who can just get some targets, make some plays on his own, Luther Burden, I want him. And there's not many, and you know me, at this point in the season, there's not many wide receivers I'm targeting off the waiver wire and stashing on my benches. I want that bench to be loaded with handcuff running backs. Luther Burden's an exception for me. That's how strongly I feel about him.
What was his roster percentage now?
It's up to 17.
17.
Which is way too low. Way too low.
Huh. Well, I think I'll still bang the drum on Jalen Coker. I don't know if it's going to happen the same way, but he finally had his good game right before the bye. And I've been preaching it for so long. As Jalen Coker goes, so goes Bryce Young. We saw it last year. That's when Bryce Young looked like he was starting to figure it out on the field. So I'm not exactly sure why he is not featured more. I mean, I understand Tet's there, but he's better than Leggett. So I want to mention him, and I guess the only other one is another Panther. And Chuba Hubbard is rostered in like 65% of leagues, but I think he needs to be at 100. He's eating right into Rico Dowdle's workload. And should anything happen to Dowdle, then you're going to get the Hubbard of last year, who just put his head down and just was a workhorse. Yeah,
I'm not sure
that's two more from me.
I'm not sure it's Rico Dowdle's workload anymore.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
I think it's back to Chuba Hubbard's workload. We saw the snaps completely flip right before the bye. I'm expecting it to continue to trend in that direction, back towards Chuba Hubbard coming out of the bye here in Week 15.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant. When I said eating into his workload, I kind of meant like he's slowly taking stuff off of his plate. You know what I mean? Like little by little each week. But he already has the bigger plate of food. So yeah, I Hubbard should not be just sitting there. I don't think, and I also don't think he's a risky play at any point right now. So, speaking of running backs, Chris Rodriguez, once again, like Bam Knight, he's a starting running back in the NFL.
36%.
Can't catch passes, 36%. He's a starting running back. People are like starting, I can't even tell you. I don't know. It just makes me tired to think about it. Some of the guys that people are leaning on out there. Somewhere there's somebody with Trevor Etienne in their lineup and Chuba Hubbard on the waiver wire. Well, all right. You got give me one more.
Well,
and then I'm going to ask you a big question.
Do we want to go really obvious? Probably not want to go really obvious, right? Like Harold Fannin is still only 40% rostered.
That's unbelievable to me.
Yeah, me too. I know. That's gonna be up to 80% after this.
I mean, I'm dropping tight ends that I would never have thought I would in favor of Harold Fannin. I'm like, do I really need Dallas Goedert on this team? Nah, I got Fannin.
Yeah, exactly.
Dalton Kincaid on this team. By the way, we messed that up on the starts and sits. Who knew Dawson Knox was gonna go off on Sunday? At least Kincaid caught a touchdown.
He did. He saved the day. Yeah. How about what about well, this guy's probably a little bit more rostered than some of the other guys we're talking about, but Kenneth Gainwell is still 59% rostered.
Who?
Kenneth Gainwell.
Oh, I know.
Last 4 weeks, RB5, RB9, then he had a down week, RB43, and then RB12. 3 of the last 4 weeks has been an RB1 in fantasy football. It seems like the Steelers' offense is getting a little bit better. Last week they started to be a little bit more aggressive, pushing the ball down the field. I don't know if that was game plan specific, opponent specific, but it was cool to see them push the ball down the field a little bit more, get DK Metcalf going in that offense, which can only help open things up for the running backs.
It must have been because they were hooked on a Thielen.
Must have been. He came and saved the day.
Yeah.
Just like Philip Rivers is going to come and save the day for the Colts.
He was like, hey, you guys are doing this all wrong. Listen to me. I've been around.
Well, they got together on Aaron Rodgers' birthday. They went to his house. They watched film together, brought him a cake, and it fixed everything. Fixed everything.
It's amazing how the NFL works, you know.
How about Jaden Reed? Isaiah Likely had a good game last week. Marcus Mariota might be a starter.
Well,
I'm just gonna empty my list.
Huh?
I'm just gonna empty out my list.
I like Likely a lot. I don't like Jaden Reed a lot, but go on, empty out your list.
I made a list of 4 guys for our sleepers show last week. I had to cut one of them off the list, and that was Isaiah Likely.
Yeah,
sadly.
I actually started him in numerous leagues last week.
And then there's a few guys like Jaden Reed's another one. Interesting. He looked good. He only played like 40-something% of the snaps, but he looked good when he got a few opportunities. All right. A few guys you might need maybe for this week in particular. Tyrone Tracy's up in the air, so maybe you might be able to start Devin Singletary if you need a plug-and-play running back who could get a decent workload. If CeeDee Lamb is out, Brian Flournoy, I know you love him.
Don't even say it. Don't even say it. CD is not going to not play.
All right, last guy. Well, besides Devin Neal. And then last guy, how about the T. Higgins
Devin
handcuff?
Neal, what's his roster percentage?
61. It's only 61%.
Oh, well.
But the T. Higgins handcuff, Mike Gesicki. Going against what, the Ravens? It's the Ravens this week again?
It is the Ravens this week, yeah. Everybody thinks that the handcuff for Higgins is Andre Iosivas, and he does see more action when Higgins is off the field, and he's definitely a red zone target. But Gesicki is both of those things, like, to the next power. You know what I mean? Also a red zone target. He's the go-to on third downs. If you, by any chance, are in a league that gets points for firsts, like first downs, so there's not many leagues like
tight end premium.
Or tight end premium.
And he's listed. He's listed as a tight end, but he's a wide receiver. He's a big slot receiver.
Yeah, he plays in the slot. He plays off the line.
Yeah, he doesn't play tight end.
Okay, now, Alex, I think I know the answer to this.
Yeah.
But for people watching, when they go to do their waivers,
are there people still watching?
Yes, there are. There's still anybody in the chat? We got 100 people on the stream.
Wow. They must have it muted.
I always preach to people. That, well, no, they're watching on like Twitter or Facebook or whatever. I always preach to people like, this is not the time to chase points and to try to get points for 1 week as a fill-in. This is not the time to do that. This is the time to make decisions that are lasting ones. What's up, Jamie? They're lasting ones. So you really, I mean, I can't say this enough. You have to really put your mind into the choices you're going to make and not just kind of throw them away and think, well, actually, if I decide I don't want them, I'll drop them and pick somebody else up. Well, somebody else is probably going to get picked up before that. So I like to look at this and say, I got the playoffs starting this week. It's must win every game. This is my only shot at waivers. My team's pretty good. I got here. Injuries are often healed. I already know I'm probably not going to get Benson back. I have to pick up one guy. I have one spot on my roster. Oh, was that me? That was me.
Yeah.
That's still me.
Yeah.
It says my Wi-Fi is fine. You've got one spot on your roster. Who is the one guy, Alex, for you? And I think I know that you are gonna go get off of waivers. You get one claim, but you're guaranteed to get that person. You have to unload all your fab, or you're first in the priority order, or whatever. Who's your guy?
Yeah. It's the Rams RB1, Blake Corum.
Yeah, I can
He's the
dig it.
guy. He's the guy. He's my guy.
I can dig it. And I don't even know what mine would be, because I feel like I've in the last
you made
couple
me answer
weeks,
that, and you don't even have one.
no. Well, I feel like in the last couple weeks, I have made some significant moves where, like last week and the week before, I barely made any waiver claims, because I was so pleased with, what I was looking at, across the board. I mean, the last major waiver claim that I made, and he's 84% rostered now, so you probably can't get him, but that was Michael Wilson. Because at this point, I'm not sure if Marvin Harrison's going to come back. And I think Michael Wilson could end up being a league winner, even with Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
Not trying to be in their own playoffs.
Oh, yeah. He's trending that way 100%. He's going to be a league winner. If this keeps going, league winner.
Yeah, I think I would be tempted with I'm a little discouraged about what happened with Adonai Mitchell. I'm going to chalk that up to Tyrod Taylor getting injured, and it's still up in the air whether he could come back. I think if he comes back, Adonai Mitchell is somebody I want on my roster. Even if I'm not playing him right away, I want him to be an option. It's not like the Jets have, Murder's Row here at the end of the season or anything. So Adonai Mitchell, and I'll cheat, Colby Parkinson too. But it is handcuff season.
It is handcuff season. Yeah, with Mitchell, I think you can definitely chalk that up to big part of that was the quarterback injury. I mean, we were talking on the Saturday show, we were talking about Luther Burden, how he had terrible quarterback play in his last year of college. Well, that's the quarterback who stepped in as the backup for the Jets on Sunday. So yeah, I think we can blame the quarterback.
Yeah, I think so too. Because he had nothing to do. What else? What did we miss? We got to let everybody get to the waiver claims. I like Saints defense through the playoffs. I've decided that. Oh, you know what I wanted to say? Are you worried about Jaden Daniels either being shut down or just being that bad for the rest of the season?
I'm sorry, I missed the question. I was reading the chat.
Oh, are you reading Jamie's stuff?
Yeah. Look at the last one. All right, repeat the question. I'll focus.
That's okay. Do you think I'm trying to remember if there are many other injuries? Like, first of all, if the Steelers get eliminated, are they just going to shut Rodgers down?
I don't think so. I think he wants to play. If he wants to play, he's going to be out there. That's going to be up to Aaron Rodgers.
Gotcha.
I think he wants to play.
Okay, next question. This is the bigger one that I was saying. Jaden Daniels, do you think they'll shut him down, or do you think he'll be as bad as he was on Sunday, or is he going to bounce back?
My question is, will he ever be as good as he was last year? Because even before he was injured, really wasn't playing that well.
No, he wasn't.
Playing that well. Now, that whole team took a big step back this year compared to last year. But I think he's more likely to be shut down for the year. I think the Commanders, they were nervous after the initial injury. I think they were nervous to put him out there again, and then he goes and hurts himself again, the same injury. I think at this point they know it's a lost year. They saw what they had with Jaden Daniels last year. They don't want to keep putting him out there, putting him at risk, and potentially risking not having him for the start of the 2026 season. I think they're just going to pack it in, wave the white flag. Marcus Mariota, he's been playing well.
Marcus Mariota is on a lot of my teams.
Yeah, he's another one on my list of
the way
waiver wire.
Jaden played last week, I did not drop Mariota anywhere.
No, I don't think that offense is any different with either of those quarterbacks right now. They're both playing at the same level. Marcus Mariota might be playing even better, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I think they're going to roll with him, and I think he might get some money in the offseason. I believe he's a free agent. Maybe he's starting for the Colts next year, or the Steelers, or the Jets, or the Raiders, or the Cardinals, any of these quarterback desperate teams. I think Marcus Mariota might land himself a starting job if he plays out the next few weeks.
Cardinals would draft a young quarterback, re-sign Brissett for another couple years at some ridiculous number?
At a ridiculous number, no. I think I would not be surprised if they re-signed him to be, kind of the bridge to what he was supposed to be here in New England last year for Drake May. He was supposed to be that bridge quarterback. He was awful, but the whole team around him was awful. And he's played well in Arizona. Now they're going to have a whole new coaching staff, most likely, in Arizona. So that's certainly going to play a factor into that. But yeah, I could see them bringing him back to be, maybe at least the number 2, if not a bridge quarterback, whoever they go to next. I don't know.
Okay, last question. There are a lot of teams that we are not used to seeing be on the cusp of the playoffs. The Eagles, the Bills are going to be fine, but they're still 2 games back in the division of your guys. Ravens look terrible, but they're only a game back of the Steelers. The Chiefs are still within shouting range, although they seem to look worse every game. Are you worried about any of these teams? Bengals too, even though they're not trying for the playoffs, but because they have such fantasy implications. Are you worried about any of these teams just kind of throwing their hands up and saying it's not meant to be this year, and that costing fantasy managers?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, if there's the issue with that would be if there's a guy who is injured, he's playing through it, and at that point, once they get eliminated, maybe they would just say, all right, you're done for that reason. Right. Yes, that's more likely to happen. So for that, yes. But as far as like if guys are healthy and the team's eliminated, I don't see them pulling the plug on,
Yeah, I think I think Cincinnati's a good one to mention, just because they're obviously not going to make the playoffs now after the loss to Buffalo, which early in that game looked like they were still had some of that magic left. But, Burrow and Jamar Chase and Chase Brown and T. Higgins, they just love playing football, man. Like you could give them a half baseball diamond playground and they would go out and play their best. So I think if you've got Bengals on your team, you shouldn't worry about them giving up. And Burrow doesn't let anybody shut Burrow down except for Burrow. So what were you going to say?
I was going to say the Bengals are used to losing, so it's no different for them.
Okay. Not really true. Not really true. Been to a Super Bowl more recently.
Yeah. I had to get that in there.
Yeah, thanks.
The Patriots are back. I can talk shit again.
I didn't kick the Patriots when they were down. I was like, dude.
Well, you had your chance and you should have taken advantage. That's on you. That's on you.
I didn't. All right. You got more thoughts?
Well, I think I've run out of thoughts. They're gone. I've emptied them out. Emptied out the list. I got no thoughts.
All right. Go hit those waivers. Go get Corum.
Yeah.
Go get Corum. Go get any running back that's a starter. If you need to, fuck projected points. Projected points don't tell you the whole story. If you need to, go look at every depth chart and see that Bam Knight is number one in Arizona and that Rodriguez is number one in Washington. Starting running backs are not easy to get, and when you have one and he gets hurt, you can't fill that in with just anything.
Stash number two on those depth charts. Stash them up.
Yeah, it is handcuff season. Samaje Perine for Jace Brown if you got him.
Make sure you're keeping Kyron Williams stashed. He's the handcuff to Blake Corum.
Why, Jamie?
Wait, I feel like I know this one. Did he tell this on? I feel like he's told this on another one.
Oh, that's not even that good.
It's not even that good. Did he tell that same joke last time I came on? It sounds familiar.
I bet I could come up with a better punchline. And it would have like a curse word in it. I didn't see this. Would you start Higgins over Otten in a 0.5 TEP? You know what? I haven't seen Otten doing much of anything. Has he been something? I mean, I know when they were all hurt and everything. Are you talking this week? I would definitely not. No, I wouldn't. I don't even think I'd roster Cade Otton. I mean, you got Godwin already came back. Tez Johnson is the number 3 wide receiver, and he couldn't get a ball thrown his way. Mike Evans is trying to come back. I don't even know that I would rather roster Colby Parkinson than Cade Otton.
Yeah.
See?
Like the cheese. Just like the cheese.
But the answer to your question is, yeah, I would. 0.5 doesn't do much for me anyway if you're already a low-scoring tight end. So, did I miss anything else? Jamie made it back after the show. Very impressive. Handcuff season. All right. Anybody still watching, all 115 of you, I want to remind everybody that Whiplash is here every Tuesday. Next week, I will have the infamous Cooter Doodle with me. We're going to be breaking down the first round of the playoffs and talking about what changes need to be made. And of course, we will cover any injuries that will affect your lineup. And if there are possibilities for waivers, we'll do that too. So come on back for Cooter Doodle next Tuesday. In the meantime, Saturday night on Yards Per Fantasy, you can just search that on YouTube. Alex and I do a sleeper show at 9:00. We also open up the chat for a few questions during that show as well. It's a very popular show, so come get in and talk to some people. And then on Sunday, of course, as always, we go live at 12:15 and we answer every single start and sit question right up until 1:00 game time. So thanks for doing that. Follow us on Twitter, buy and sell you, A_Johnson FF, at yards per, at Player Profiler or Roto Underworld. And I think that's it. Alex, I'll let you say goodnight to the people.
Good night. Thanks for having me on, man.
It was my pleasure.